Hello and welcome back to our tutorial. Here we are with our character. We have had to remake a little bit of this. I didn't save it, even though I made a video of it. I didn't save the actual blend file, so I've remade the HUD a little bit. I think it's similar to what I had. Maybe it's a bit longer at the back, maybe. But yeah, roughly the same. And so I've just added a light in there to make it look a little better. I'll rotate that around there and get a better idea of what we've got. So render out an image. So this is just the face that we had and the HUD, and I've just unwrapped the HUD, added sort of a cloth image in. If I click on it here, you can see I've put so there's my image texture. It's kind of a cotton image. I've put a brightness and contrast node in. I've made it a bit darker. If I put it at 0, that's the original image there. It's sort of a yellowy sort of image, and that's sort of, I just made it a bit darker. It goes through my diffuse and off to my surface. So just to give you an idea of how it's set up. Okay, so what are we doing in this tutorial? We are going to look at making the body. Now, we're going to load in a reference image, not that one. So, and we're going to add in this guy here. Now, I have shrunk my model a tiny bit. So, let me just change the size of this guy. Drop them on Y. That's not too bad. So what we're looking to do is to sort of approximate our model to this background model. So we could make the background image just a wee bit bigger. And I've lost them there. Where are we? Roughly. So, the eyes are roughly in the right position, nose, mouth. It's about scale, so we're trying to, I'm going to use his sort of body as a sort of a reference. Now, my character is a female character, so it might be, different proportions, but it'll give us roughly an idea of where we're meant to be. So, we're going to take this, there's its origin, so Shift-S, cursor to selected, so that's where I'm going to start from. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a circle. Now, before I add the circle, just going to very quickly have a look at my mesh here. And this is what I've got. And we have 7 verts here. So, if I'm, that's sort of like a 1/2. So, 7. Say that so 14 would be the full semicircle. So 14 is 28. So we're looking at 28 to do a full circle. So let's see what we can do. So into object mode, and let's add a circle. Now by default it's 32, so we'll go 24. And then we're going to go GZ. I'm going to bring this down into the waist and scale it down. There we are. We've got our waist. Now, we're going to use mirror modifiers, etc. in this in a minute, but I'm just going to get into edit mode, Shift-D, I'll bring this down roughly to here to the hips, scale it up a bit. Now, I am aware that, it's completely round, so it's not on the Y-axis. This is not in any way believable, but that's we'll deal with that in a minute. Now, I'm going to have a think about what I'm doing here. So I'm going to add, so cursor to selected, I'm going to add another circle, and this one I'm going to put 12 verts in. I'm going to scale it down, and then go G, and position it here. Now why 12? Well, if there's 24 all the way around, and half the verts have to go to this leg and half go to that one, so 12 on this side, 12 on that side, so 12 verts in here, 12 on that side. So, again, not perfect, an approximation. Now I'm going to go Shift D and move this up here, rotate it, scale it down a bit. And this is sort of the beginning of my arm. I'm going to take my middle one here, select them all here. So at the moment we've got two circles, start of a leg, start of an arm. So I'm going to take this one here, I'm going to Shift D, move this up here, and you can see like this character isn't fully on, like standing in a sort of orthographic mode. It's okay, so there's my chest. Now, so where are we? Okay, so let's put this on the correct side. Let's put that there, and do the same with this. Now, place that there. So, well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off this background image for a second. Have a think about these here. So I'm going to scale them on Y so that it's not so circular. Okay, again, this is just an approximation. Now, I'm going to go GY and just place these sort of below the character. And that's basically, there are many ways to make a character, and sculpting is always going to be, you're going to get beautiful and excellent results. But it's important that we explore different ways to create a character. So Shift D. Now, I'm going to add in loads more geometry here. Or not right now. Shift D, top of the boot, Shift D, Shift D. Okay. Now, again, this arm is, coming towards as it's sort of foreshortened, so we have to be careful not to get this completely wrong. So again, let's turn off that background image, and that one there. I could probably rotate and move forward on Y. Now I'm just going to join these together. So W, bridge edge loop, W, bridge edge loop. Do the same with these. Okay, and I can and hopefully you can see that it's just a very crude and quick way of getting something proportional. So I'm going to go into wireframe mode and deselect, select everything on this side and delete it, and then add a mirror modifier. Subdivision surface as well. A mirror modifier. Set it all to smooth. So if I turn my background image back on, and I come in here, I can take, say, those three there, and I'm going to go, actually I can take the whole lot and extrude it up once more until there, and then we'll take those three and extrude and join. Now I need to turn on clipping to make this work. So there they have joined. And I can get a good few of these to match. So W, bridge edge loop, and let's see, face. Now, let's see what we can do here. Do something similar. do face. So again, we're not trying to, this is not going to be perfect. Just going to undo that for a second. So we're actually left with a quad here. If I go GY, if I bring that back a little bit, I've got 1, 2, oh no, I'm not, I'm left with a triangle. Okay, so not ideal. So now loop cut that and bring this back a little bit, and now I can have a quad. And I will need this here because this needs to go out for the hip. And then I can fill that one in. And then I'm left with the same conundrum front and back. I've got an extra vert coming down. And we'll get to making bums in a minute. Turn on proportional editing. Okay. So there are a couple of ways I can fill in these gaps here, and the easiest one is actually just add in a loop cut. Now that's my entire problem solved. Now hopefully I will not live to regret that. Oops, Control or, and to join them, and then subdivide it. Oops, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, 4, not that one. Face. And, you know, this is not perfect geometry. But we'll, you know, just getting basic kind of shapes here. So, now, that's sort of the lower half of the model done. I'm going to take this arm. Now, I know we're following this image, but just going to move it out a little bit. And what we need to happen here is we need our kind of forearm to come up, and we need sort of a merger of the torso and upper body. So W, bridge edge loop. So we've connected them, and so I'm going to take these guys here and extrude them, kind of rotate them a little bit. And follow sort of the line of the shoulder. Now, this is going to join with our neck in a moment. But we'll get the rest of it working first. So, again, it's real basic stuff, this, so, you know, we still have clipping on yet, so. Just make sure these guys are all joined together. They are. Excellent. Now, you know, when we look from the side, he's, you know, totally cylindrical and not very good. But I suppose what we are, I won't say our lesson, but what we need to take from this is that when you see something that doesn't work, that doesn't look right, that doesn't necessarily mean it's completely wrong. This means it hasn't been, you know, developed or needs more work. So let's take those three, and we're going to extrude this, rotate it a bit, and extrude, rotate, and again that's going to join up with the neck. So now we've got, basically, we're filling in the gaps. And we can, I'm going to turn this off for a minute. Rotate, extrude, and extrude. be back a little bit there. Yeah. So now what we're looking for is, I'm just going to take this and hit H to hide it, and because we were making these as separate objects, that makes everything all a little bit easier. What we'll try and do is I'm going to take these two and I'm going to go W merge at center. I'm going to do the same with this one and this one. W merge at center. So now I've got a sort of a neckline, shall we say, something to work with, going from front to back. So I can take this vert here and I'm going to extrude this down. That allows me to fill in here. Again, I can add a loop cut here, and that will save me a whole bunch of creative problems later on. So again, we will extrude this kind of upwards, and bring it back a little bit, fill that in, and yeah, I'll do that. Doesn't quite work. So again, like the subtlety of this is lost at this stage, so we're just trying to get basic shapes. Now we want to kind of seal these excuse me. So now, what have I got here? So I'm just going to do the front. So I'm going to extrude this in here. And this is going to let me complete basically the top of the arm. And if I go to wireframe mode, I can see I've got 1, 2, 3, and then a quad. So I'm going to actually put in a triangle there and not cry too much. And this is all a little off. It's not exactly the right shape. I need to push the whole shoulder in. He looks like he does a serious amount of weight at the moment. So again, I can bring this in. It'll allow me to complete this area here. Extrude this down. I can probably move it in a little bit on Y and start filling this in. And again, this time I'm left with a quad. Cool. Now, so that's our, in terms of making a body, that's not bad. And obviously we have to make forearms, we have to make feet, we have like a lot more detail to do. This is all, we can have fun, making the character fat or thin or whatever we want it to be, a couple of things of this in terms of the scale of this character. So I'm going to turn back on my proportional editing here. And proportional editing is amazing for just reshaping everything. So, I can, just using the G tool, I can really profoundly affect how this character works with, a relatively small number of movements of geometry. So yeah. Anyway, we can work on a whole bunch of things, or more detail in a while. But so there's roughly our character there. Now, if we select everything, we have a few things to sort out, I don't want those too close to the center. Same here. So what we're really looking at is joining these two. So I need to, I'm just going to position this kind of crudely here, and we can start to see if I join here, then the back isn't correct. So I can, turn this back on. So I can start, reorganizing, reshaping. Now I am missing part of the neck, so this should overshoot the back of this mesh, but not by as much as it did. And anyway, so we can get a really good idea of how it should look. So now, if I go into edit mode here and select it all, let's just turn on normals. They're all facing to the outside. There's a couple of really cool tools in Blender. So I hit spacebar, which is something we don't do very often, and we can call up tools here. So I'm going to type in TO2, and then this one here, 2sphere. And I'm going to escape out of that and turn off my proportional editing and do that again. So 2sphere. And I can make something by moving it closer or further. I can kind of make it rounder. Didn't make it too much of a difference there, but it can be a very helpful tool. Okay, so again, let's measure, or let's count here. So I had 7 in the base of this, and I have 9 here, and I have 2 here. That won't match, so I should get a good link between the two of these. So I'm just going to save this, and then I'm going to join the two of these together, Control J. And you can see I've immediately got a problem. But that's okay, so let's take this and go P, separate by selection, and I'm going to take this object and then go mirror on X. And it looks like nothing has happened until I go into edit mode. So as a separate object, I went mirror on X. It just flips it on X, but because it's symmetrical, it made no difference. And now when I join them, Control J, I have a normals issue that I can just go Control N to. So I realize I do not have my screencast keys on. So it's Control N to invert normals. I'm just going to take the one I can't see, that one. And I'm just going to move that down a little bit. Okay, so now let's join these. W and bridge edge loop. So we can see there's a problem, which I kind of anticipated. So we're going to have the neck is too long. So that's a giraffe type person. I'm sure someone in the world looks just like that, but we don't want our character to look just like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this loop cut here and delete it. And now this will mean moving the eyeballs in a minute, but that's okay. I'm just going to take this and move it down. And that looks a lot better. And then again, because we've got the same vert count, W, bridge edge loop, and we should have a much better character. Now we still have an issue with, there isn't a smooth flow of verts here. Yeah, she looks like sort of Arnold Schwarzenegger in terms of her neck muscles. So I need to kind of fix that. But that's no problem, we can do that. Okay. Now, we definitely need to move these eyeballs, so GZ, and then GY. Now, we're going to stop at that point. Now, it's probably a very strange texture on this body when we go into render mode. Yeah, and we'll go Alt-H to unhide. And we will very quickly take our hood, move it down, because if you remember, we've moved our character down. And if we go into wireframe mode, we'll see just by how much. So, to roughly there. And then, just very quickly, what we'll do is we will, with the proportional editing tool on, make it a bit bigger. Oops. We'll just sort of pull this in to kind of match the model that we've made a little more closely. Okay. Now, so let's look through, go to our render, select our camera, zoom out a bit. Oh, I haven't got this turned on. Now we've definitely got issues with hips and legs, but as a starting point for our character, it's not too bad. And in terms of what we're going to go on to do, making a rig and making a walk cycle, it's not too bad at all, particularly when we think that, yeah, the bottom half of this body is slightly too big, but we'll work on that. You know, all things considered, I select everything. I have 610 verts, which, you know, will translate into a lot more with the subdivision surface modifier on it, so it's 9,000. But 9,000 verts is not a huge amount with regards to, you know, making a model for a computer game. So, see if we can just offset no a tiny bit less. Okay. Okay. And yeah, we still have to put feet on here, so that's a lot better. So again, that proportional editing tools, you know, is really cool, and we'll save that. And like I said, this is just a very low polygon model. We're not trying to make anything. We're not trying to make a AAA title here, but what we are trying to do is just practice sort of making objects from primitive shapes, some circles, from using polygon editing. So we are moving around using G, S, or so scale, rotation, grab. Just using basic tools to try and get you know, to grips with the basic sort of skills in Blender. And then we're going to add into this, we're going to texture it, we'll add in some, you know, a simple rig, and then we'll give this character a walk cycle. Okay, so we'll leave it there for now.